It's time for Talk Law Radio with Todd Marquardt. Todd Marquardt, attorney at law in Texas. If you're a millionaire or a thousandaire, Talk Law Radio is now on the air. Call in with your business law question, your elder law question, veteran aid, Medicaid, build a business to get paid. 210-308-8867. Or ask a question online at marquardtlawfirm.com. That's MARQUARDT lawfirm.com. And now it's Talk Law Radio with Todd Marquardt.
Welcome to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt. Now it's time to discover your legal issue blind spots by listening to me talk about the law on the radio. And today you can join us, Anna Cruz, CEO of FinTax Help, IRS resolution expert, and me as we discuss how you can plan right now to legally reduce your tax liability when you file your taxes next year. Slash your 2025 tax bill and protect your assets like a pro. But first, let's get into the financial focus segment. In addition to legal blind spots, I'd like to highlight some financial blind spots as well. If you listen to Talk Law Radio regularly, you know that Steve Warren, president of Financial Planning HQ, has been discussing the financial focus for the last few weeks. Steve and his sons, Joseph and Jacob, serve as financial CEO for Successful People. This week and for the next few weeks, Joseph Warren will be discussing the financial focus with me. Joseph, welcome to Talk Law Radio.
Thanks for having me on again.
Joseph, we're going to be talking taxes today, right, with Anna?
Yes.
And so I would like to know, what does year-end planning look like for your financial planning clients?
Yeah, it's really a big focus, but it depends, of course, because every client is different. I know a lot of your audience are older adults, retirement age, so I'm going to kind of focus on that.
Okay.
A lot of our clients fit that description as well. And what we've noticed is as you get older, the IRS looks to get as much money out of you as they can before you die.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And even when you die, you know, if you have retirement accounts, a lot of money in 401ks and things like that, they make you take it all in 10 years, your heirs. And some people will just take it all at once because they're not financially literate. Mm-hmm. And that leads to a lot of taxes going to the government. So I'm going to talk about a strategy having to do with required minimum distributions, which people have to take when they're age 73 to 75 now. And the reason you have to take it is because if you don't, they're going to charge you 25%. And we have a tax law expert, so let me know. I know they're constantly changing it. But they'll charge you 25% if you don't do that. Mm-hmm. And they're not doing that because they want older adults to be financially, make sure their cash flows are good. It's a great source of revenue for the government, right? Taxing these 401ks. You have to take the required minimum distribution. The money's never been taxed. And the government's going to, get that money so they can spend it on some good things, parks, libraries, but, studies. There was a study they did about why people spill their coffee while they walk around, the migration patterns of birds, some things that aren't maybe so good.
Yes, we know that the government is not a good financial steward of resources.
Sometimes, yeah, for sure. But we had a client who was having to take the required minimum distributions, and he was also someone who already gave to charity. He gave to his church. He gave to veterans' causes and the other causes that were very near and dear to his heart. And we told him, basically, if you take that money straight out of your IRA, send it directly to the charities, you're going to give it anyway, but you can skip having to pay the taxes on those required minimum distributions. Mm-hmm. This is called a qualified charitable distribution strategy. And it's kind of a basic thing, but it saved him a few $1,000s each year. And he's doing something he was going to do anyway, just giving to his church, giving to charity.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a Christian radio station, we like to focus on the gospel as well as the law.
Yeah.
Of course.
So that's really neat that he could save money that way. It's a win-win, for the charity and for him.
Yeah.
What are some other tactics that you can tell us you help your clients with?
Well, the IRS doesn't just go after retirement assets. That's a great boon to them. It gives them a lot of money, but also your non-retirement stock accounts, your brokerage account you might have. If you have done a good job over your lifetime picking good stocks, you'll probably have a lot of capital gains. And sometimes for strategic reasons, you want to place some sales, maybe to get out of one sector or do something like that. So we had a client in that situation where they were going to have to place some sell orders and recognize a lot of capital gains. And this is actually a strategy that's best done proactively, called tax loss harvesting. But what we had them do is harvest losses by selling stocks that were losers that hadn't done well and buying stocks that were very similar. So an example is if you have like a large Fidelity account, I know I have a stock account at Fidelity, you might say, my GM stock is not doing so well. I'm going to sell it for a loss, capital loss, that can be written off against capital gains in the future or this year, and I'm going to buy Ford stock. Very similar, but not identical.
Yeah.
And doing that, you can even write off, as much, $3,000 in ordinary income as well as counteract your capital gains. That's another strategy that we use with clients. Every year, we like to do it proactively too. So sometimes we'll just tell our money managers just automatically. Now with computers, they can just automatically do it throughout the year.
Right. That's really amazing. Yeah. It's genius, actually.
Yeah.
And I love the term harvesting tax losses. It makes me think of a farmer.
Yeah.
Now let's talk bigger picture. What factors really go into effective year-end tax planning?
Over the course since I've been working in the business, we've had a lot of clients who are pilots, and we actually learned from pilots that checklists are very important. I'm a huge believer in checklists. So we have a checklist that we go through in our financial planning discipline to make sure that we're not missing any opportunities for our clients. But one thing to ask yourself, so the reason you can do end-of-year tax planning is because you're close to the next year. Mm-hmm. So you can sort of ask yourself, am I going to be in a higher tax bracket next year or this year? Of course, you don't know exactly, but there should be some clues if you're going to make more money next year or the previous year. If it's next year.
Personally, I like to make more money every year.
Every single year. And grow it, right?
Yeah.
But if for some reason you anticipate that you might have, a higher tax bill next year, you can delay some of those deductible expenses to January. It's just a few months away. If you don't, you could, accelerate them and bundle those expenses this year. So that's one thing to think about is if you want to really attack this year, balance it out, or if you really want to attack the next year.
Right. And it sounds easy to do, to look at tax brackets and look at what your income's going to be. But practically, I think that people might have a hard time confronting that. Who can help them?
Yeah. Well, we can help them. Of course, tax experts like Anna can help them. But really, it's you want to make sure you have a good CPA who's proactive. And I was looking at your website, Anna, that you said tax strategy, because I feel like that's missing for so many people. Usually it's just preparing the taxes, just, looking at it that way. But you want to have a good proactive CPA. Of course, we can help, right? As financial planners, I'm not going to say we can definitely help with that. We have strategies and checklists and everything. And we'll make sure that you make the best decisions so you can achieve your financial goals. And one part of that is minimizing your taxes. And to do that, we work with smart people like Anna. Yeah.
Okay, well, doing all that stuff, I'm sure, is necessary, but do you have any resources right now that our listeners can get from you? Yeah,
we have a checklist that's client-facing. And for anyone who calls in, I set up a special number for this. It's 210-444-2128. I couldn't get all the fours, but 444-2128. And for anyone who calls that and mentions Tax Law Radio, I'll send it to you for free, no obligation. And for the first 3 people who call, I'll give them a book too, which will drastically increase their chances of achieving their financial goals. And that's completely complimentary. They don't need to do anything. We're just going to provide some value, provide some education that could help people whether they work with us or not.
Great. We'll give that number again a couple of times.
Yes, it's 210-444-2128.
Thank you for sharing that. Whether it's achieving or maintaining financial independence, becoming more tax efficient, or building business wealth, Steve, Joseph, and Jacob can create comprehensive, written, lifetime financial strategies that's uniquely yours, based entirely on what's important for you. So call Financial Planning HQ today, 210-444-2128. And if you have a question about income taxes, you can call right now. Call the radio show today, November 1st, 2025. You can call 210-308-8867, 210-308-8867. Or if you're in Houston, Texas, you can call 866-308-8867. 8867. 866-308-8867. We're going to be talking with Anna next segment about income taxes and how you can legally reduce your tax liability by planning now.
Now, yes, right now. This is the best time.
That's right, because you don't want to wait until after the first of the year, because then you might miss some of those opportunities to do things now.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, well, we got to take a break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Clear.
Yeah. Are you confident about your financial future? What if you had a clear financial roadmap and a team holding you accountable to make the best financial decisions no matter what? At Financial Planning HQ, Steve and his sons, Joseph and Jacob, have been helping San Antonio families since 1987 with inspiring, intelligent financial strategies. Whether it's achieving or maintaining financial independence, becoming more tax efficient, or building business wealth, we create a comprehensive, written lifetime financial strategy that's uniquely yours, based entirely on what's important to you. Don't leave your financial future to chance. Call Financial Planning HQ today at 210-685-2722. That's 210-685-2722. And take the first step towards financial clarity. That's Financial Planning HQ, inspiring financial strategies for San Antonio. Remember, 210-685-2722. Hi, I'm attorney Todd Marquardt. If you don't have a will, the state of Texas decides who gets your stuff, and it might not go where you think. I'll help you create a simple, legally sound will that protects your family and your wishes. Call 210-530-4278. That's 210-530-4278. Or visit marquardtlawfirm.com for your free consultation. Do it before you die. Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt, and we're on KLUP 930 AM, 630 AM The Word in San Antonio, and KNTH AM 1070 in Houston. Also podcasts everywhere, Facebook Live, YouTube, and talklawradio.com. If you're interested in sponsoring the show, or if you're interested in being a guest, go to talklawradio.com and click the button, and I'll get an email about your question. So each episode I like to talk about some aspect of Texas or federal law that's giving people trouble so that I can explain it and help you avoid those hidden legal issue blind spots. And this week, the hidden legal issue blind spots is taxes, tax law.
Of course.
Yes, and so Anna Cruz is here with me. She has a very interesting resume. She's got a lot of experience in financial analysis. That's what I would call it. But you started all this back when you were in the Air Force. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Air Force afforded me so many opportunities to get a vast amount of experience. I did budget and analytics. I did some corporate finance. I deployed to Afghanistan twice, where I was the comptroller there, the only comptroller for the Afghanistan area of responsibility. So I've used all of that knowledge to combine it with the stuff that I learned on the outside after I got out, which was taxes.
Are you allowed to say, like, what was the budget for Afghanistan that you had to deal with? Was it really high?
Yeah. There were 3 numbers and then a B after it.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's a lot.
It is a lot.
And so after you did that, tell us just briefly everywhere that you worked that brought you to where you are today.
Absolutely. So I did tax preparation with a great mentor of mine for a couple of years. That really taught me the basics of preparation and making sure that things are done correctly. After that, I moved on to strategy, right? Understanding the tax return, being able to read it and actually decipher to the client what it means and how we can save them money. And my most recent tax resolution I've gotten into, just because I meet so many people, do their taxes, they just didn't know some of the great things that Joseph and you talk about and have huge tax bills. So I help them negotiate that with the IRS, remove liens, levies, just resolving tax issues that a lot of other practitioners aren't really willing to take on.
And so you have your own business now.
I do.
Tell us what it's called and how they can contact you.
Sure. It's FinTax Help. We are here to help you with any tax issues, and our number is 210-500-0098. You can call or text. It's 500-0098.
Okay, great. Tell us something about your family or what you like to do for fun, just so the audience knows that you're a real person.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I have a spouse and 2 beautiful children, a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. They keep me very busy. I love what I do. So in the office, I do have 2 amazing people that support our clients and make sure that everything runs smoothly. And for fun, I read tax law. No, just kidding. For fun, I do like to get out, try restaurants, get, hiking, literally anything that kind of connects me more with nature.
Yeah, I've heard that that's a good thing to do, to connect with nature, because it keeps us grounded. Somebody told me one time about the magnetic field of the earth and how it affects your body. Is that something that you know about?
I have no idea, but I do know that when the sun hits my face, it makes me feel brand new.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to say a prayer before we get started so that God can be with us. Dear God, thank you for this day and for all the gifts and blessings that you give to us. Please forgive us for our sins, our mistakes, for doing the wrong thing or failing to follow your will. Please help Anna, Joseph, and me give good information about taxes today. Help us to use the gifts and talents you have provided for the good of your people, for our own good and for your glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Okay. You mentioned FinTax Help, your business, about how you help people with their taxes. Tell us what it was like to start that business.
It was challenging. I had the knowledge, but starting a business has so many intricacies that you just don't think about until you're in it. And every day it's like something comes in new at you. You got to be a marketer, an advertiser, an HR person, budgeting. I mean, everything. And it's an incredible. I mean, it's been something that has taught me personally and professionally how to just be a better person.
So you know what it's like to start and run a business. Do you help business owners with their taxes?
Oh, absolutely. That's one of my biggest passions. It's how I contribute to the community. I go to a lot of, startup networking events for small businesses and just helping them start their company correctly, not have to pay additional taxes, making sure that they're aware of their responsibilities when it comes to sales tax and payroll taxes. I want to educate people so that they never have to hire me as a tax resolutionist.
Yeah, that's great. And you mentioned networking. You and Joseph almost ran into each other because you know Jacob and Steve.
We have run into each other, yeah. So I'm part of a networking group of business professionals, and Joseph was kind enough to visit one day and give us some great information.
Okay, so you did meet. That's cool.
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right, so you can help with tax resolution as well as tax preparation, but we're going to wait until the third segment to talk about the tax resolution. So let's get into talking about tax planning. Mm-hmm. What are some of the old, tried and true strategies or deductions that people should not miss out on?
Right. So a lot of, if it's a business or for individuals?
It's both.
Okay. Well, for businesses, just because it's a little bit easier, a lot of the things that are missed are home office deductions, vehicle deductions, depreciation, especially for us, the business owners that are running an Airbnb or a rental home, which is quite common, making sure that, you get those depreciation deductions. They cut thousands of dollars from your tax bill and put a lot more money in your pocket. And those are good for 27 years. So we really want to try to take advantage of those things. personal deductions that a lot of people don't think about. After the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, there aren't very many. Make sure that your tax professional is putting your interest income on your taxes so that you can get that deduction. And then the SALT deduction as well, if you're itemizing, which I think we're going to talk a little bit more about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Joseph, do you have any tips or questions for Anna related to businesses or individuals on the old tried and true strategies or deductions?
Well, I know Anna knows a lot. She knows a lot about the tax strategy. What we do a lot is kind of focusing on, our domain, which is the financial planning. So, but yeah, there's a lot. There's child tax credit, things like that. Yeah.
And you know what, Joseph, it's so important what you mentioned earlier about being able, the tax loss harvesting, right? A lot of people don't do it correctly. They see some video somewhere that is inaccurate, and they go and sell and buy the same stock, and that's a big no-no, right? You lose a lot of those tax advantages that you would have gotten before, so I'm really glad that you mentioned that.
TikTok has been crazy for advice. I don't know. You probably get that with tax, but there's so much like commit tax fraud and then do that one little thing.
Please talk to a professional.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So the One Big Beautiful Bill Act has a lot of tax stuff in there. And so that's sort of what I was going to focus on because I learned some of the provisions in that law as it relates to trusts and estates recently. And so I wanted to ask you, what are some new things for individuals or businesses that came from the One Big Beautiful Bill Act?
Well, one of the biggest ones, and I think that one of the ones that people are the most excited about because it applies to individual taxpayers who don't get a lot of cuts, is the SALT cap. So the SALT cap is now $40,000. Now what that means is for people who own homes and they pay a lot of real estate property taxes, they can now deduct up to $40,000 if they itemize. And just to give you a quick idea, so you have a standard deduction that everyone can take. It's about $29,000 for a married couple. And then you can itemize if you think that you can get a bigger deduction. And that's where that SALT cap really comes in. It's going to give you, just if only the SALT cap is it and you have $40,000 of it, that's $11,000 extra in tax savings.
So if you have deductions that add up to more than $29,000, then you would itemize?
Yes, and it's much more advantageous. And that's one of the things that we do, right? We always try to look for ways to save people money. So we look at all their things. Oh, is this person eligible to itemize? And we make sure to make that comparison so that they're getting the best tax outcome.
Oh, great. So if you have a question about itemizing taxes, you can call the radio station right now and ask a question yourself. November 1st, 2025, call 210-308-8867, 210-308-8867. Okay, so we talked about the standard deduction. We talked about itemizing. Is there something new for senior citizens?
There's something new for senior citizens. Well, the Big Beautiful Bill is changing very often, right? What happens is Congress passes a bill and the IRS has to interpret it. And I don't want to go out there and give misinformation because it has been changing about every 2 weeks. But there are some things coming down the pipeline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they don't have the forms or the rules
Not,
yet.
And yeah, it changes quite often, but the
Okay.
SALT cap is there. That's 100%.
Okay. Okay, well, we'll talk about something else then. Are you familiar with ABLE accounts? I think that the contribution limit is increased in the One Big Beautiful Bill. So if you have a family member that is disabled, then they can put money into an ABLE account that's sort of like a 529, right? It grows tax-free.
And as long as it's used for the care of that individual, it's also tax-free when you take it out.
Right. So that's good to have.
Yeah. What's good to have, Todd, is a team like this, right? You want to have a lawyer, you want to have a tax person, and you definitely want to have a financial planner on your side so that you can not just know all of these things, but have a team that you can ask these questions to.
Right, definitely. Tell us about no tax on tips. Is it really no tax?
No tax on tips, and it's probably not going to start in 2026. It's probably going to start in 2027 because the IRS has been adjusting the W-2 statements that people get at the end of the year. But basically, up to $50,000 of the tips that you make are tax-free.
Okay.
Yeah. And that'll be annotated on your W-2.
But that means that the person earning those tips has to actually report their tips.
Well, yes, but they should be doing that anyway. That's what the law requires.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've known some people that worked in restaurants when I was in college and stuff, and so I'm not sure that everybody does that.
Putting it in their pocket.
How about no tax on overtime? Are
Yes.
they going to be able to claim that?
They are going to be able to claim that, yes. No tax on overtime. There is a limit. The limit has not yet been established, but I know there's a lot of excitement in the IRS about it, so it's definitely going through.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, Joseph, do you think more people will work overtime if they know that they're not going to have to pay taxes on it?
What I've been seeing is a lot of layoffs, sadly.
We got to take a break.
If they can, it'd be good. Yeah.
We got to take a break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. In the beginning, God had one law. Don't eat from the fruit of that tree. Then he gave Moses the 10 Commandments. And now we have municipal, state, and federal lawmakers that won't stop creating new laws. Laws that might impact you without you knowing it. So listen to Talk Law Radio every week, Saturdays at 11 o'clock in the morning, Sundays at 4:30 in the afternoon, and on podcasts everywhere, Facebook, YouTube, and talklawradio.com. This is the Sinners and Saints segment. You know the song?
Of course.
I love that song. So I talk about the sinners and the saints because I'm Lutheran, and Martin Luther is quoted as saying that the saints were sinners too, but they've been forgiven and absolved. Mm-hmm. And so I was thinking about this segment and thinking about your tax resolution, and I realized that it's a sin if you don't pay your taxes, because Jesus said, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's and render unto God what is God's. And so, we all make mistakes. And if somebody doesn't pay their taxes, you can help them,
Absolutely.
Right? And then they can be forgiven and absolved,
Absolutely.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Can you tell us an example?
Absolutely, yeah. So one of the things that is required for tax resolution is you have to have compassion, right? A lot of people that come to you with these tax problems, they are completely overwhelmed. They don't know who to turn to. They can't get the IRS to answer their phone calls. And so I have two cases in particular that I'd love to share. One is a business owner. He, was a business owner, very successful, but like I talked about earlier, we just don't know all the things that we are responsible for as business owners. So he accumulated about $760,000 in payroll taxes. So basically, he was taking the payroll out of his employee's paycheck, but he wasn't paying it until the end of the year because that's what he thought he was supposed to do.
Oh, wow. And
those payroll issues, they actually are 100% penalty. So that doubled it to almost 1.5.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes. So, we were able to negotiate with the IRS. He was able to make one payment of $80,000 and then $3,000 a month for the next 6 years. So a much better outcome. I mean, we saved him $1.2 million.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
That was an amazing outcome. He was so relieved, and to this day, he talks to me like a friend all the time. I tell him, "Are you calling me because you got a tax problem?" He's like, "No, I'm inviting you to a barbecue." And then I have another that I spoke about a little bit with Joseph. So some of those, sometimes when you work for a company and they're going to dismiss you, which is something that is happening quite often right now, they'll give you a severance package. And one of my clients got a severance package. Most of it was stock and didn't have the knowledge to know that you shouldn't sell before you've been holding it for a year and a day, and got a $303,000 tax bill. So we were able to kind of explain the situation to the IRS. It was a little bit of a harder case just because she was a high-income earner, but we were able to bring her down to about $40,000, no payments. She was able to make a one-time payment, $40,000, and everything went away, including all the liens on her house.
Goodness, that's a big difference. And how devastating to get that bill and to have a lien. And
Yeah.
I mean, you probably just feel like that the whole world's caving in on you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It takes so much mental space that people can't focus on their things, their family, their job,
Right.
their career. It's, it's a burden.
Yeah.
It just reminds me, like, the tax law is very complicated, and why it's important to talk to someone like Anna, because just that difference of 2 days is short-term capital gains, which are very harsh, versus long-term capital gains, which are a lot more manageable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and they probably need to have somebody act as financial CEO to help coordinate the tax planning and the financial planning and the legal planning and
That's where the
insurance and all of that.
That's where it gets powerful. We were talking about some ideas for coordinating, but the strategies working together are very powerful. Yes, definitely.
Okay, we have a caller. Bert, you're live on the air.
Hey, Todd. Greetings and salutations to you and your guests. And
Howdy.
that's just the old. Hey, I have a question. I'm glad you have a tax person. I've been pondering this on and off for years. Due to my disabilities, when I was medically retired from the Army, they say I pay that I'm taxed for disabilities. Now, I haven't filed since then. Am I missing out on something? Should I start filing and putting just to file?
So if I understood correctly, you're receiving non-taxable payments from the VA?
That is correct.
Okay. Are you receiving any other type of income?
I just got my Social Security. And
Okay. So
but they tax that.
They do. They do. So a portion of your Social Security is taxed. So I would say that for that reason, you should file taxes. However, if you even if you don't have a tax liability, the statute of limitations never closes on a tax return until you file it, and then it closes 3 years after for them to be able to assess additional taxes. So sometimes even if it's just going to be a zero return, it's really nice to just close that chapter so that the IRS can't go back and say, "Oh, we found this item from 2025, in 10 years," and start bringing that up, especially because in 10 years most people do not remember like the things that were going on. So that would be my advice.
Yeah, we would never advise somebody to not file a tax return, probably.
No, that's what helped clarify. So I should go to like someone like you, and then should I start filing all the way back from 2014 when I got out and got the letter of non-taxable?
So the IRS only requires us to file 6 years back. A lot of people don't know that. However, it's that statute of limitations that I told you about. If you want to close that book, then getting them all filed is the best idea. And you can give us a call. We can definitely help you out. We are very, very helpful when it comes to veterans, as me being a veteran myself. 210-500-0098.
Thanks,
Well,
Bert.
hey, I got one question, Todd. I mean, a comment. You said why they're lawmakers. It's like, well, I call Washington, D.C. The D.C., I say, stands for the District of Corruption. And,
That's funny, Bert. Thanks for the call. We'll talk to you later.
all right, bye now.
Okay, well, I want to switch gears a little bit. Y'all have babies at home, and
Yes.
and so it made me think of the Trump account for babies that are going to be born this year and next year and in the future. How does that work?
So basically, when a child is born, they get a deposit into their account, and the details are not solidified yet. But basically, that deposit is meant to grow tax-free until they use it for either college or can convert it into a retirement account. So the advantage of that is that everyone gets it. But if you are below a certain income, then you will receive additional contributions. And I think it's really great because it's a way to bring lower income people into a better situation, especially those children that need that money for whatever it may be in the future. So really great idea on Dr. DJ Trump. I like to call him DJ.
Oh, DJ, that's
DJ
funny.
Trump.
Joseph, I was wondering, do you know anything about it? Like, what is this account? Is it like with Fidelity or Vanguard or with who?
My read on it, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that it probably would be with an investment company, and that you get that bonus for certain, depending on when you're born. My daughter won't get it; she's going to be 2, based on my read. but my son Luke will be able to get that money because of when he was born, just like a few years apart. But it's almost like a retirement account is how I saw it, that you can fund without earned income. That was basically my read of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's funny. I don't know what the reason was for it. I mean, other than what you said, to help low-income people turn money over to an 18-year-old, so that there's a savings account that you can't get into, I guess.
Yeah, some forced saving. It's good. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of financial information out there that's necessary. That's why, again, I say you got to call Joseph, right? Get that information. But it will help, hopefully, bridge some of those income gaps that we're seeing right now, as long as people use that wisely.
Okay, well, we have a couple of minutes left in the segment. If you have a question, call us 210-308-8867, 210-308-8867. This is Talk Law Radio, where we help you discover your legal issue blind spots. Talking to Anna Cruz and Joseph Warren about income tax, year-end planning. What are some other deductions or strategies that you tell everybody about?
Well, we talked a little bit about estimated taxes, or maybe I just made that up. But the point is...
We did before the show.
Okay,
so
that's what it was.
Yeah.
So it's really important that you meet with a tax professional, especially if you're a business owner or a high-income earner, before the end of the year, so we can pay estimated taxes if you're supposed to. One, it avoids penalties, but two, something that a lot of business owners don't know is that business taxes are due January 15th, not April 15th. So as of January 15th, you're accumulating those penalties, and you could use that money for something else in your business. We don't need to be giving it to the IRS. So meeting before January 1st so that we can employ those strategies. An additional one that I want to touch on really quickly is 100% bonus depreciation. So that's something that's coming next year. So if you want to talk a little bit about how the IRS can buy you free stuff for your business, give me a call and we can talk about it.
Oh, that's awesome. Game changer. Okay. Well, we have just a little bit of time left. We have somebody on the line, but we might have to take that next segment. So we've been talking about year-end planning, and Joseph, any thoughts?
Yeah.
30 seconds.
Yeah, just make sure you funded your retirement accounts if that's a part of your strategy, your IRA, your 401k, that's deductible on your taxes. Roth IRA, make sure you do that before the end of the year. And HSA is also important if you have one of those. And big purchases like equipment, car purchases can help business owners a lot at the end of the year.
Awesome. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Are you 100% confident that no matter what happens in the financial markets, economy, or world events, you will achieve your financial goals? If not, we have a process to get your financial house in perfect order and keep it that way forever. Your financial future shouldn't be a guessing game. Planning, advice, organization, and accountability are deliverables you should expect. For over 35 years, Financial Planning HQ has been San Antonio's trusted partner for comprehensive written lifetime financial strategies. Steve and his team, including sons Joseph and Jacob, don't believe in a one-size-fits-all approach. Instead, they create a personalized financial roadmap for you based on what's important to you. As an independent registered investment advisor, they're not tied to any big corporation's products. They work for you, creating inspiring, intelligent financial strategies that put your interests first. Call Financial Planning HQ at 210-685-2722. That's 210-685-2722. Hi, I'm attorney Todd Marquardt. If you don't have a will, the state of Texas decides who gets your stuff, and it might not go where you think. I'll help you create a simple, legally sound will that protects your family and your wishes. call 210-530-4278. That's 210-530-4278. Or visit marquartlawfirm.com for your free consultation. Do it before you die. Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt. This is Anna Cruz and Joseph Warren. Anna Cruz has a tax office called FinTax Help. How did you come up with the name?
So we were FinTax planning at one point, and I didn't think that it captured what we were trying to do. What we're trying to do is help people with tax issues, whatever they may be. And so FinTax Help really captures it better.
Cool. That does capture it. This is the legacy segment.
And now, it's time for the Talk Law Radio Legacy Spotlight. What's your legacy? Sponsored by Marquardt Law Firm.
So, Anna, you know Marquardt Law Firm focuses on business and estate law, including last wills, living trusts, and tax-protected inheritance plans. It's all about legacy. And so I like to ask my guest about legacy. And so what does that mean to you?
So I was raised in a low-income household. There was not a lot of things for me to receive, to pass down. But I have built things that I can pass on to my kids, right? Accounts and homes. And to me, protecting that and making sure that they have a better footing to start off at than I did is very important to me. Very important.
Yeah, that's great. What are some family values that you want them to remember?
Hard work and integrity is always number one. And then excelling at whatever you do. It doesn't matter whether you are a basket weaver or a NASA astronaut. Do it to the best of your ability.
Yeah, I had to have that conversation with my daughter when she was in high school. I said, you have to be excellent at something. Pick something. Okay, Joseph. Now, you've been on the show a few times already, and you probably felt that this question was coming.
Yeah.
I still want to keep getting bits and pieces of your legacy because your children are going to listen to this someday.
Yeah, for sure.
So tell me, what does it mean to you?
I think about my daughter because my wife sells roofs, so she's not afraid of heights. And my daughter got that from her. She'll climb on the couch and everything. She actually did a fracture on her arm.
Oh, man.
And we like to tell her, instead of be careful, because we don't want to give her fear, to look down. And we just say, look down, look at where you are. I think it's important not to pass on fear to your kids. We just had Halloween as well. Not to pass on fear to your kids. And I think a lot of smart people are held back by that. And even with taxes, people don't want to look at it. They avoid it. And when you shine a light on it and you just operate in reality, there's so much strategy and planning you can do to save money on taxes. But just to live a full life if you're not held back by fear. Even if you are scared, just do it anyway.
Right now, it's the holidays, and so nobody wants to talk about taxes in November and December. They're focused on buying gifts and reuniting with their family for Thanksgiving. But this is the time that it is the most important.
For sure.
I remember what your legacy was one time. You said, and I love this quote, you said, your legacy is the sum total of all the decisions you made during your life.
Wow, yeah.
Pretty profound.
My memory is gone, but yeah, that's awesome.
I didn't even know I said that.
I like to listen
Right.
to that. Sounds wise.
So let's keep talking about taxes to give people some direction. If they're working with somebody or not working with somebody, or they're going to file online with some online provider, what kind of tips can you give them so that they don't fall into a hole?
Well, first of all, make sure that you hire someone that is going to be there for you, that's going to answer your questions in regards to saving taxes, that's going to answer your phone calls, that explains to you what's going on with your taxes. That's in one of the most important. If you're a single W-2 filer and you want to use one of the online providers, that is usually okay, right? Those are very uncomplicated, and I think that saves people money. But anytime that you evolve beyond that, you get a house, you get a child, you start a new job where you're earning more money, that's when those strategies really kick in and where we can be a big money saver for people.
Yeah. So when you accumulate more, I think you have a bigger responsibility to be a good steward of the things that you have. And I have some clients that have amassed a few $1 million, and they're always upset that they have to do legal planning. Like, I say, well, you want to be a good steward of the resources, and you don't want, opportunists to come and take away your assets, because there's evil people out there. We can't just pretend like that doesn't exist.
Absolutely. It's you have to protect yourself and your family, and it's one of those topics that's uncomfortable, but it's absolutely necessary. You have to think about your legacy and what you're moving forward in your family.
Yeah, so this is Anna Cruz. She's a tax expert, and she helps people that are in trouble with the IRS.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And so you're not afraid of the IRS?
Absolutely not. Me and the IRS, we go head to head, and it's fun every day.
Do you know how to get in touch with the IRS?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you have to stay on hold for hours at a time?
There are times, but for the most part, once you start working in tax resolution and you start meeting some of the agents within the IRS, it's a lot easier to contact them, leave them messages, they call you back. So
cool.
gets as you get more experienced and you get a good reputation, knowing that you're doing good work, they'll call you back.
You ever see that movie with I think Will Ferrell, where he was an
tax,
IRS agent?
Stranger Than Fiction.
Yeah.
Stranger Than Fiction.
That's such a great movie. You should watch that if you haven't seen it already. Joseph, can you think of any other tax ideas?
I would just say contact me, contact a professional, because it's complicated, and there's some people I think who like doing it on their own, but I think that's a rare breed. It's good to have people looking at the tax law who know what the newest laws are, so that they can give you the best advice possible and help you to achieve what you want to achieve. Because, I don't meet a lot of people who are like as detailed as tax law as you are, right? So it's good to have people. I think there's a proverb, I'm probably going to misquote, but there's wisdom in having a lot of advisors and people giving advice, and you don't want to have to do it all yourself. It's kind of stressful. So,
well, I met somebody recently who has a full-time job. He's a professional, and he has rental properties. And so I was asking him who his accountant was, and I asked him about who prepared his returns, and he said, "Well, I tried to do it, for a few years, and then I asked my cousin to do it because." He said it was so hard. You have to gather all these documents, and then you have to try and understand, am I filling in the right boxes?
Yep, and one wrong box can mean a whole lot of taxes.
Yeah, and penalties.
And
interest.
Yeah. And wasted time too.
Well, and I tell that to my business owners too. So I had a guy come into my office, and he has a daughter, and he has a business, right? And his business is doing well. And I told him, hey, I'm looking at all your financials, and you really need to be a different entity, right? So he was one thing, and we needed to turn him into a corporation. And just like that, we were able to save him about $27,000. And I jokingly told him, I was like, congratulations, I just paid for your daughter's semester in college.
Yeah, no, that makes all the difference. And if you have a financial planner, that can grow that money over time, then that's the best way to do that.
Yeah.
Tell us, Joseph, how do you work with somebody's accountant?
We coordinate with them, and we have them actually help with creating the strategy. So you're very good, but sometimes we notice that CPAs are just looking at 1 year. They're just preparing the taxes. They don't care about strategy. And that's why I love looking at your website. You were talking about strategy and like that long term. But we make sure that their advice is aligned with the goals that the client has, their long-term vision, and then we start implementing and helping to implement the advice that has to do with their financial planning.
Yeah, and if you're doing tax loss harvesting, that requires two professionals, right? You coordinate, make sure it's on the tax return, and you make sure that it's not violating any of the repurchasing rules.
And we're both very strong professionals, but we can still augment each other, right? Two brains are better than one, and that's really ultimately what we're trying to provide is the best outcome, the best service.
Yeah. They're experts, right? Like Anna's an expert, so I love getting ideas on cool new things to do. Same with you. You were giving some cool ideas for the SALT deduction and things
Right.
like that. So.
Right. So we're looking for somebody who owns a multi-million-dollar home,
Yep.
who earns more than $500,000 a year, and has income-producing assets like real estate or treasury bonds or interest and dividends. Because in order to maximize that SALT deduction, $40,000, if you earn more than $500,000, you start losing the deduction. It gets phased out. But we can use a type of trust to offload some of those income-producing assets, get that income off of their
Absolutely,
return so that they can get the full deduction. And so this is where I could help out, too, that has some tax impact. But it also has an impact on your family and planning for the next generation.
Yeah.
It's all about legacy. So we have to close the show. I appreciate you so much for coming, Anna.
Thank you.
Is there anything that you want to say that you haven't gotten to say yet?
Well, really quickly, Todd, thank you so much for inviting me. I know personally Alex Vollmer at your firm. He's exceptional, so it really says a lot about you to have quality people on your team. And I think taxes are about a relationship, like we've talked about. So if you go to fintaxhelp.com, you can book a 30-minute free consultation, and we can talk about your situation.
Great. Yeah. Book it online. So, Anna, thank you for joining us. And next week, we're going to be talking with Joseph and Mark Wittig.
Oh, yeah.
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 So we're going to have to record that ahead of time, but it's going to be a great episode about all the charitable work that he does for the homeless and his business and his book.
Yeah.
Have you read his book?
I haven't, but I know him. He's a very smart guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lifelong learning.
Yep.
So if you learned something today, please post a comment on Facebook or YouTube or email me at host@talklawradio.com. Tell a family member. Send them a copy of the show. We got to talk to you later. Bye.